Hi, I'm Jimmy Spitz. I'm here with the Midwest Enigma, TME Beats. And today we're going to be talking a little bit to him about not only his production, but part of his history and some of his previous roles other than producer. So I was on your website, one of your websites on the SoundCloud page. Basically, I noticed that you have a lot of different genres of production. I saw 8-bit crunk, hip hop, and also aqua crunk. Can you talk a little bit about um, the um, the the styles that you make?
Definitely. On that page, you get. I guess you mentioned the 8-bit crunk. That's a more video game influenced style. Also, I include in that using like a bit crusher effect, which gives like the simulation of like your synthesizers being like from a Nintendo or a Sega Genesis or something like that. Trying to blend that in with the Southern style. Uh, we also had the aqua crunk, which is more liquidy sounding. It's just supposed to feel like you're in water. I love aquatic animals, particularly octopi and squids, and that's really what the inspiration from that is. Um, and my hip hop stuff's just more like traditional samples, some boom bap mixed with a little bit more modern influence, I guess.
Okay. And Also on your samples that are more hip hop, I noticed you sampled Bob Marley in the song Revelation. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of how you felt about rhyming over that beat?
Yeah. I was just sitting at home one day listening to some Bob Marley. I was listening to like one of those 4 disc collections, just going through stuff, and I heard that song, and I really liked the message behind it, and I liked the way that it sounded. Like the horns just sounded good to me as a sample, so I used it, and I had intended on rhyming on it at first, but like once I got to it, I didn't feel like I was writing at the same caliber of that song, so I decided not to and just put it out as an instrumental. I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. I also noticed a couple days after I did that Arab Music had done the same thing and flipped the same sample, so it like validated it a little bit to me.
Cool. Basically, going back to reggae, you actually hosted a show here at KOPN at a fairly early age called
It was called the Reggae Party actually, and yeah, I started doing that probably when I was around 12. I've been coming up to KLPN since I was 3 or 4 with my father. He was the former host of the Reggae Party along with Ross Shumba, um, and so I have a pretty good knowledge of reggae. It's something that definitely factors into the way I think about music and into my production.
um, basically, um, you've produced, you've been a DJ, um, you contributed to the Nick Danger album um, called Introducing Nick Danger. What was your role in that? Did you produce any of the tracks? What was your role in that?
Primarily, I wasn't a producer in the traditional hip hop sense on that record. I spent more time sort of just coaching Nick Danger and helping him out, make sure that everything was flowing and was cohesive, and that like we got the product to the level that he really wanted it to be at. I also did the introduction for it and had a verse on the song Monsters, which sort of came about being named after our friend Sebastian Young Monster, who was also featured on that track. But our we had another guy, Nathan Smith, actually produced that, so we kind of varied the production up on that a lot.
Okay. Um, you've worked there. What influences have you um, been introduced to that kind of have built your style over the years? If you had to name 2 or 3 producers that have really influenced you, and maybe a record label or so, what would you say?
Um, I would say definitely for a label, Stone's Throw has been a big influence on me. Just the amount and diversity of output on that label, like they just have impeccable selection along hip hop lines, electro, anything like that. I mean, I like a lot of different kinds of music. I say like production wise, I always wanted to meld J Dilla, Madlib, MF Doom style sample beats with a more southern feel. And 3 6 Mafia has always been my favorite group, even though I guess I have more of a cerebral style to what I do, and they're like generally considered more simple, but I really like them. So it's both of those.
Okay, well, you heard it first. I'm Jimmy Spitz. This is the Midwest Enigma. Stay tuned.